Hey, Brenton.
Hey.
Hey, man. Look, I heard you know what podcasting was like, so I just want to know, what's it like, dude?
Well, like warm apple pie.
Oh, yeah, bruh.
Well, it's like if you took one of those
Yeah?
and you threw it in your face.
Another day, another ep.
I feel like that is exactly what podcasting is like.
Brenton, why do you think I have this suspiciously warm apple pie here?
So here we are, episode 60.
We've done it, mate. We're in our 60s. Does this mean we're close to retiring?
But soon, give us another 3 episodes and we'll be out of here.
We'll get me the fuck out of here.
We'll be hitting the retirement homes and be listening to all 63 episodes and repeat,
Oh my God.
Telling everyone, oh, this is what we did back in the day.
Back in the young days when we had no idea what the Rocky films would be. Like, who knew Paulie would have gotten a sex robot? Like, who knew?
Hey, Nathan, do you know what the question that, plagues my existence?
What's that, Brenton?
It's, what is classic movie banter? And let me tell you the answer to that one. It is a podcast.
It's a podcast.
It's a podcast where myself, one Brenton,
yes,
and that guy, one Nathan,
yes,
we talk about movies that are older than 20 years. 20 years. Do you know what that makes them? That makes them classic, so to speak. Funny that, because it's in the title. And then we talk about these classic movies and discuss whether they are actually classics or whether they are not.
I just thought of a great guerrilla marketing technique you and I should do, where we should get there's some that you can get stickers on DVD packets, and it's like limited edition or special edition or something like that. Like it's a nice gold shiny sticker. We should get one that says classic, and you and I should just go around to different DVD stores if they still exist, and just slap them on movies that we've done that we've verified as classics.
Sure, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in a few years, there are going to be no DVD stores. So it means we're going to have to hack the interwebs and put our own, little stickers across, I don't know.
The iTunes banner or something.
Yeah, exactly. Netflix or, I don't know, Amazon Prime, who knows? We're going to be there, our faces with a thumbs up or a thumbs... Or, we should get a sticker with my face and a thumbs up, and then your face with a thumbs down and vice versa.
Yeah.
So we can, cover those scenarios as well. And just, every movie ever, and everyone's like, what the fuck are these stickers? And I can't get them off.
Yeah, and this is got a little link to our podcast. If only we could find out what these two were talking about.
I tell you what else I can't get out of my mind. Speaking of stickers, Brenton? The film that we're reviewing today, which is American Pie, released in 1999. I want to say,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's right.
I am so excited we're doing American Pie, because I've seen it, but you haven't. I'm so happy.
Golly gee!
Oh golly
and
gosh!
We go.
And also, when you and I watched it, it was one of the most fun nights you and I have had watching a movie.
Really? Would you say that? More fun than the fire truck experience last week? Or?
That was pretty good. That's pretty good last week for Seven Samurai. But it was great because you came around and and my housemate Logan was around, and I had another mate over, James, and all 4 of us. It's the most frat thing we could have done because all of us are in our early 20s, and we just had an American Pie on, and the 4 of us were all drinking, and we were like, it's the film's playing. So we're not probably the target audience, but it definitely. It played to the room, didn't it?
It did. It was probably the perfect scenario to watch this film.
It was.
I was for my first time, it was a pretty good.
How
experience.
Ironic. Yeah. So Brenton, it's kind of I don't know. For our listeners who come to this podcast for the Godfather and for King Kong and for all these Bridge over River Kwai, to put American Pie in this canon, you might need for those listeners pitch them this movie.
Yeah, of course. So, American Pie. Here I am.
Is it about the factory?
Here we are at a Hollywood office, and I'm here to tell you that it's not a biopic. It is about a group of boys, a group of young men who are embarking on their final year of high school. And during this time, they've realized that this group of friends are all virgins, and that they want to experience
they just wake up one day.
Yeah, they all want to experience sexual intercourse for the first time, so they make a pact that they are all going to have sex by the time they've graduated school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, are you one of the characters in this movie?
Yeah, this is when I said this isn't a biopic. That was a lie.
This is actually, they're all different like aspects of Brenton's personality, the four boys. So.
You know that movie? You know that Disney Pixar film Inside Out?
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically this film, but about me.
That would be amazing. Could you imagine if Pixar made a sequel and it's about like Riley trying to lose her V's? Just like,
Oh gosh.
oh, that'd be a bit questionable for Disney.
Pixar's getting into that adult market. Am I right? Getting into that R-rated scene.
Oh, of course. So is
Jesus
that the
Christ.
whole pitch? They're just trying to lose the V's?
I mean, like, that's about it. Like, there's not. What else do I need to say about this? Really?
Nothing really. Like, is that the only plot of this? B plots? Are there character arcs? Are there?
No, that's about it. That's about it.
It's
Yeah.
pretty much it, isn't it? Like, yeah, it's a teen sex comedy from 1999. What more do you want?
What more do you need?
Yeah.
All right, Nathan. Nathan, seeing as this was not your first rodeo.
Yes.
What did you think of this film?
Oh,
What do you think of this film?
I bloody love it. But I'm so biased as to why I bloody love it.
Why is that?
Have I ever told you about the first time we watched this movie? I must have told you this story when I first saw it.
I don't think so.
It was when it was ski camp.
Yes, you have told me this story, but please continue to tell it for the sake of the
I've told you the
podcast.
story off air. I haven't told the story on air. Oh, should I tell the story? This isn't a good story. It's oh, this is such a bad story. I regret this now. In year 8, we were I shouldn't be telling this on the podcast, but I will. So in year 8, I was like 14 or something like that, and the year 7, 8, and year 9 kids all went on this ski camp to a mountain called Hotham, which is in Victoria, in Australia. We were there for like a week, and one night on the mountain, we were all staying in this like bunk bed kind of thing on the mountain. There was like maybe like 12 of us boys, and all kind of early teens. And one of the year 9 blokes who's 15 goes to like one of the 7-Elevens or DVD stores or whatever it is on the mountain and gets a copy of American Pie. Like, and most of us hadn't seen it before because we were, it was a very conservative school. Our parents normally like hit us from that kind of movie making stuff. Obviously, your parents, Brenton, who let you watch anything. Yeah, but like, so one of the year 9 boys puts on this movie on one of the nights that we come home from skiing, and so we're all sitting around and we're all very excited. And so, because on the DVD cover it's like, explicit sexual content, like they know how to market this movie. We'll talk about the poster. And so we put in this DVD, and all of us boys are like, yeah, there's gonna be like girls, it's gonna be very exciting. And so we start watching this movie, and it gets towards some of the sexual stuff. And as it gets to one of the scenes where there's nudity, we get a knock on our front door, and one of the female teachers who's escorted us on the trip is wanting to get our attention. So we pause it. He pauses it on the part where it's like a transition between two scenes. So it's kind of like this kind of like pan shot of one of the high schools, whatever it is. And so as he goes to the door, he opens it, and it's one of the female teachers. And she's like, hey, boys, I hear you guys are making lots of noise. Can you please keep it down? And we're like, oh, we're so sorry. She's like, what are you doing? And then he's like, oh, we're just all sitting around just watching the television in our room. And it's like this shitty little square TV that's like sitting in the corner. Like the ones you used to have on like buses, Brenton?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that kind of TV. So she walks in and she's like, oh, cool, you're seeing a movie. And they're like, yeah. And she walks on in and she sees all of us. And we're all kind of under the blankets just being like, oh. and she looks at the TV and it's this little shot of the high school. She's like, oh, cool, sweet. Well, just if you're laughing or anything, just try and keep it down in the future. Like, sure thing, miss. And she leaves. And then we press play, and then immediately cuts from like that shot to a sex scene. And if she had just happened to press play and actually just stay there and see what the movie was, she would have seen what we were watching.
Nathan, what a story. What a tale.
And that hyper energy of that thrill of being underage, but still kind of seeing this fringe kind of movie is what I associate when I see this.
Well, that's a good associate. Like it, yeah. I can see why you hold like this like in such a special place in your heart after hearing that incredible story. Like incredible. I mean, like, gosh, what a
narrative. It's almost like I wrote the movie, but. But for you, Brenton, you weren't bloody 14, you were 23. So yes. What was it like for you watching this movie, American Pie?
So Nathan, let me set the scene.
Yes.
I sit down with you guys, and everyone's saying, you haven't seen American Pie? Oh my God. We pour the whiskey, we're sitting there, sipping away.
And I'm drunkenly like, let's do it for the podcast.
That's exactly that was uncanny. That was exactly how
fuck
it happened. off. And so we sit down, we press play, and we begin to watch this film. And I immediately realized that I've watched this film like 10 years too late. If that makes sense.
I
like,
hear you.
Here's the thing. For me, like, it's not great. It's not great at all.
How dare you? How dare you?
It's not, but at the same time, Nathan, it's not made for me.
No.
It's made for the boys on the ski camp that are like, like sitting there, like being like, woo, and like me being at the age of 23 watching this film. It's just, I mean, like there was moments in it that were funny. Like there was moments that were funny, and I was like, oh yeah, that's funny. But for the most part, I was just like, oh, you know. And it's an odd one for me as well, because then there's a subplot in this movie that I remember saying when we watched this, I was like, this is the thing I'm the most invested in this whole film.
Yeah, and you're the only one who was.
Which is like surprising. Yeah, like exactly. I was like, this subplot's like getting me for some reason, and then I was like, and it's the most.
Was it because you were that choir boy, Brenton, back in the day?
No, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was.
Choir boy and lacrosse jock who just wanted to sleep with the choir girl.
Maybe it's because the only like kind of plot that has some sense of like humanity in it. I guess that like there's some like actual.
Yeah, it's not just about trying to get in the girl's pants. There's actually like genuine emotion. Like yeah,
exactly. So yeah, look, I'm just late on the train. That's the problem, and I kind of recognize that. But at the same time, it's just kind of like like you know. And I think as well, because obviously similar, maybe I don't know, similarly to Seven Samurai, like there's jokes in this film that I feel like other films have then literally copy and pasted into films throughout like the early 2000s, like the mid 2000s, of like
a lot of other movies have done this.
The exact same joke. So it's like it's hard again, because it's like at some point like the joke's just not, it just doesn't get you anymore, because you're like, oh yeah. Like, that was my reaction to a lot of this film. I was like, oh, yeah.
You know what's going to be horrible is that I'm going to say yes to this movie, but I'm going to say no to Seven Samurai. You know?
Yeah, well,
like,
hey,
that doesn't show my taste as a movie reviewer and how so off the ball I am. I don't know what is, but...
I was thinking when I was watching this movie, though, that it reminded me of a little film that came out a few years ago that is a pile of shit, called Your Highness, starring... James Franco, Danny McBride, and Natalie Portman. And I was sitting there thinking about that, because I remember when I was about, 13, 14... No, 13 I was when I saw that film. And I was sitting there, and I was over at a friend's place, and we were having a sleepover, and we were watching Your Highness. And it's not like, you know, really a teen, like, sex comedy or anything like that. It's just a stupid comedy. But we were laughing our asses off, and it's not that funny. And if you watch it today, and if you, like, anyone in this, like, that watches this show watches it today, you'd be like, oh. But at the same time, when I watch that film I'll still laugh at it, because I remember that night that we were just these giddy idiot teenagers being like, oh, like watching this movie. And so like I get it at the same time why it's kind of. And the other thing as well, like American Pie, I think, like, it's got such a legacy, and I think it just sits at such a perfect point in history of when that film came out, and it just kind of took the world by storm. You know what I mean? Like, and you
can see it, because, like, it came out in 1999, and this movie is, like, extremely 90s, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Like, for
it
sure.
Is, you could not get more 90s than this thing. And it's great. And it's not just 90s, it's late 90s. Like, it's that Britney Spears kind of NSYNC, like, Blink-182 era 90s. And especially because the world right now is so nostalgic for the late 90s. It's just, it's so perfect. I should point out as well, the film just celebrated its 20-year anniversary.
Hey, congrats, American Pie.
It came out July 9, so it's just passed. But yeah, it's so 90s. And like, if you love the 90s, then you'll love this. It's like, this is what Captain Marvel like tried to do, where it's like throwing in every bloody 90s reference, but it did at the time because it actually was made in the 90s.
I just wanted to say right now that I have not seen Captain Marvel, and the fact that you're saying that Captain Marvel tried to do American Pie, I've got to say is a bit concerning, questionable, and makes me want to watch the film even more, just like out of interest.
Brie Larson just lands on Earth and she just wants to lose the V's, you know? She's just like, quick, Samuel L. Jackson, like...
Oh my God.
No. But like, it's I don't know, it's kind of endearing when you look back on it, because these four, or whatever, how many boys there are in the group that all want to lose their V's, like, they're all different personalities, and I'm saying that in the most generous of terms, and they all go about losing the V's in a different way. Like, you got the guy with the girlfriend, you got the guy who's like an elegant kind of professor who's mysterious, you got a guy who's the jock, and then we've got the main guy whose father just keeps on walking in on him, and all of them try and lose their V's in different way, but they're so empathetic because like for so much of the film they're just continually failing. It's almost like it's a little bit like slapstick. You're just like, oh, you just look at them. It's like, oh, you'll lose it one day. I also love how like they make this pact, but it's never really illustrated as to why they need to do this. Like they mentioned that like they don't want to go to college as virgins, but like the stakes could not be lower. Like if they don't lose their V's, it's not the worst thing in the world.
I think like it's part of the joke, and like kind of the lesson of this film at the end of the day is like, you know, sex isn't everything. It's not. But what's funny, I guess, about the film is that they treat it like it's like a life and death situation.
Yeah. And it adds to the world. And also because it's not just them, but every other teenager their age also treats sex like that. Like they're all talking about sex. And like even the girl, I forget all their names, but the girl who's like talking to all the different boys, like, and they're all asking her for advice. And as if she's the most experienced person in the world. She's just like saying, you just do what you gotta do, you know what? It's just like, you do you.
Can we talk about that character just for 2 seconds? Because
yeah.
that performance, I guess, like that actress and that character really, for some reason, like I don't know why this is, reminded me of Carrie Fisher a lot.
Yeah, actually, that's fair.
Like I was just like, this is like Carrie Fisher. Like it's just someone that was just kind of this presence of like, yeah, of her. And I was
they
just
actually
like,
tried to get Carrie Fisher, but she was too old for the role.
I mean, like, based on the fact of like all these other actors that are clearly not 17, like,
oh my God,
I don't know, like
they look
maybe they
so old. All
perhaps
of them.
they should have just cast her. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what? It kind of would have been funny if, like, they, as like a meta commentary, they did cast Carrie Fisher just to prove a point.
For sure.
Also, because these boys are so fetishized on losing their V's, it kind of makes sense that Princess Leia would be the girl that they turn to. You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean. Yeah,
there's some social commentary in that. But like,
so Nathan, you should have directed the film. Just made American Pie a meta narrative, like disassembling like the sexual impulses of teenagers and where that links to and how that affects how like films and entertainment and social media affects like young people's minds when it comes to sex and whatnot. Nathan, you should be writing American Pie 5 right now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is the thing, Brenton. Like, let's bring back a segment into this part of the podcast because you know our segment is this movie worth the remake? I think because there are a lot of American Pie sequels, and obviously you've seen none of them, but like there's a lot of them, and it's a mixed bag. And the last one was American Reunion, which came out in 2012. But I think in 2019 or whatever year you're listening to this, you could really say something quite intelligent on a teen sex comedy, especially where like teenagers are like, you know, pretending they're 18 and getting on Tinder, or where there's porn addiction, or where you know, with social media they're sharing more about each other than ever. So like I think you could say some really intelligent things with a current day American Pie film.
I agree. I think it'd be really interesting. But the thing is, like, if a studio was to remake, let's be honest, if a studio was to remake American Pie, they would not be concentrating. Like, one, I don't think would happen in this day and age, and two, like they would not be focusing on the meta narrative of like how these things affect teenagers. They'd just be going after the market. You know
that's
what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah,
like,
you wouldn't be watching this comedy thinking like, I'm going to have a
but in saying that, I think
opinion.
I think that's a great pitch that you're giving us about a film that kind of reflects on today's youth and how the influences, I guess, have not necessarily changed in their entirety. Like, it's still the same idea. Was this like it's still the same idea, but I guess like the mediums have changed and like how that reflects in a modern adaptation.
That's a funny thing because even in this 1999 film, there is online dating. We do see it at one point.
We do, yeah.
And it's so funny because you just see this early 90s, this late 90s internet, and it's the slowest shit possible. And especially when later on in the film, when you really see them use the internet, you just kind of laugh at it, and you're like, oh, and you just see how far they've come, and nothing's changed. Like you just said, nothing's changed with that culture.
Yeah, totally.
And it's great. But like, were there any others? Were there standout characters for you? Did you like the parents? Like,
yeah, like I mean, like all the characters are fine. Like, there's nothing.
They all do their jobs.
They all do.
What about Stifler? Because he's the most famous character to come out of this.
But that's insane to me watching this film. Like, that he is the most like prevalent character. Like, as the series goes forward.
Because everyone knows a Stifler. Like, you and I definitely know a Stifler.
Yeah, but everyone knows a Stifler. But at the same time, like no one likes a Stifler. Like, at the same time, like you know what I mean. Like, I just didn't find him that necessarily funny. There's one joke linked to him that I think's hilarious and is one of the best jokes of the film. Which we'll talk about in spoilers.
Yeah. It's really good. He's just like, I just know, everyone knows that guy's like, what's up, fuckface? Like, he's constantly grinning, and he's just an idiot. Like,
he's just that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He's always hosting the parties, whose parents are always out of the house, who's just...
I imagine as the series goes on, like, and obviously that character will get more screen time, given the popularity of it, that he becomes... Okay, here's my prediction. Does he become like someone that is like they make him dumber as the film goes on? Like they make him a bit dumber, but at the same time he's still got like a heart, I guess. Like they try to...
He gets more of a heart of gold as it goes on.
I was going to say, like, that's the thing. He's going to be a bit stupider, a bit funnier, a bit slapstickier, but at the end of the day, it's going to reveal that he's got a heart of gold. Mate, I don't even need to watch these other films. I can just see
No, you do, because they're so good. There's like 8 sequels or whatever it is, and I've seen all of them, because obviously I had nothing else to do as a teenager. But like, my favorite of the sequels is 2, which is where it's an immediate follow. It's where it's summer break, and it's so good. They end up painting some lesbian's house, and they find their dildos. Like it's so good. It's so good. I don't know if it's as good as American Pie 1, but it's still fucking excellent. There's another sequel called American Pie Band Camp, where like you go to band camp, which is because this film has so many quotes, and one of them is like, this one time at band camp, and it's
spoilers. Come on, man, we can't spoil what
you can't. A famous line from a movie isn't a spoiler.
We can't spoil the line, dude. Like let's wait till spoilers and we'll get into it.
Fine, all right. I'll talk. Well, there's a sequel that focuses on that part of the movie.
There are people out there that's a joke that would make them laugh if they'd heard it, and like without knowing anything about the movie. And I'm sure that person exists out there.
Okay,
so
all right. Then I'll stop talking about it there. We'll save it for spoilers.
Yeah.
There's another one called Beta House, which is like American Pie but in college, and it's actually quite shit, but I love it. And the rest of them are horse shit. Oh no, I do like American Wedding, but like anyway. So like yeah, I think you can do a lot of stuff with this franchise, but like it's yeah. What's really surprising me about this movie, I don't know how I'm justified in saying this, but I don't think it is as misogynistic as it could be. Like yes, it sexualizes women, but it also like all the boys are idiots, so it's not like gratuitous in its nudity, and it's not like and the women aren't just like these one-dimensional characters. Like they do have more to them, or do you disagree on that?
Some of them are.
The girlfriend I think probably is one of them. Like,
what do you mean? Is one of?
She's probably one of the one-dimensional ones, I would say.
Which girlfriend? Oh, the girl. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Like honestly though, like I can honestly probably count the female characters with like that are actually characters with like on a couple fingers. Like to be honest, like. Really, like if you
Brenton,
think, like,
keep those fingers away from the pie.
But like, and obviously it's a product of the time and whatnot. And I get what you're saying about the doofus thing, but I kind of want to finalize my point that I want to make in contrast to that, actually in the spoilers section.
But, okay. Well, then do you want to rate it and get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. So,
all right. Thursday night.
Thursday. Oh, dude. It's a hard one.
But it's hard because like we're recommending this to everyone in the podcast. Like there's a very specific market that this film is for, but in general, alongside all the others 59 episodes were done, is this a yay or nay? You know what I mean? Like what do you think?
Well, at the same time, like at the moment we're talking about a Thursday night and whatnot. Like, and it was a Thursday night, and we did watch it.
I think it actually was a Thursday night.
Yeah, and we all had a good time, and you know, you guys reminisced, and I was watching it for the first time. We all went, oh yeah. So it was a fun time, but in my gut, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give it a thumbs down. Sorry.
Oh,
but I will say a thumbs down whilst knowing that I missed the train, and also like knowing what the film's in and that there's some merit to it. And if you like this movie, like all the power to you.
Did it do anything for you?
Not really. Like this is the thing. It just didn't. Like unfortunately,
wow.
like and
I'm
like,
just so sorry.
But yeah, no, thank you, because I feel like I missed out, and at the same time, like I understand that this film's like obviously I've kind of missed the train, and I've said that a few times, but the point I'm trying to get at is that if you like this movie and you enjoy this movie and you've got good memories associated with this movie, hey, that's totally fine, and I actually get it. I get why you like the movie, but at this point in my life, it's just like watching it, I'm just like, oh yeah, whatevs. And I move on. Like, so yeah, I just, I have to.
At least you can now get the references from it. At least you can now say something.
Totally, yeah. And there are some good jokes in this film. It's just, for the majority of it, I was just like,
It's even hard for me because I'm so biased when it comes to this movie. And like watching it again, like, I still find it very funny. Like, but I hear what you say. I'm trying to think of our listeners. Like, I know in my heart, I would play this on a Thursday night, and I would play movies like this for my friends. Obviously, you wouldn't watch this with your family, but like,
what do you mean?
what? But I'm even thinking like if I had people out there with girlfriends, or even just like a group of girls laughing at how idiotic guys can be at teenagers. I don't know. I feel like there are lots of groups of people that would get something out of this movie, and also especially with the 90s nostalgia really ramping up. I think that would probably be a carrot for the people. So with all of that, I'm trying to think if there's anything insightful that you learned from this movie. I mean, probably don't have sex with a pie, but like, I don't know. I think it's a healthy commentary on sexuality. I have to give it a thumbs up. I have to, like,
sure. But it'd say that, like, not all films have to be a commentary, and not all films have to teach us a lesson, and not all films have to, like,
you're
like
right.
this is fine, like, as what it is. Like, I totally get that. So yeah, like, dude, like, by all means, give it a thumbs up. Like, you shouldn't feel, I guess, funny about that. Like, yeah.
Just watch it and it'll be funny. And you know what? Even if you watch it with the wrong crowd, it'll be a great story that you watch this with the wrong crowd. if we have some listeners like listening from their retirement village and they're like, oh, these young chaps, they watch American Pie, maybe it's the time. Even if they watch that movie and they loathe it, what a story. And they'll go to their bloody shuffleboard comp and they'll be like, we just saw American Pie, and they'll have some stories to tell.
They will.
Did I ever tell you, Brenton, the story where my mate Trent and I went to see Deadpool when it opened?
No, you haven't told me this story.
We saw it on opening weekend. Just the old people remind me of it. We saw it opening weekend. We were so excited for it. And if you remember, Deadpool had a very interesting marketing campaign. And one of the things that they did for it was have a billboard of Ryan Reynolds and Veronica Brand, whoever plays the girlfriend. And it looked like a romance movie. So we went to the weekend opening, and in front of us in the cinema were these two old ladies. And they must have been like their late 70s. They looked old and they looked frail. And we sat down, Trent and I, we looked at them in front of us like, what are these two doing in a Deadpool movie? And we watched the movie. It's incredible. It's so good. And the movie finishes and the credits are starting to roll. And we've been laughing the whole time. And these two ladies have been dead quiet the whole movie. And the credits roll. And as it does, they turn around to face us. And one of them says, did you young chaps like the movie? And Jen and I were like, yeah, we thought it was really funny. And the other woman was like, oh, because we're big fans of that Ryan Reynolds. He does some lovely movies. And then the other one was like, yes, but this one was just simply dreadful. Quite crass. And Trent and I were like, yeah. And then they're like, yeah, we thought it would be one like his other movies. And the other lady was like, yes. And then they just stood up and shook their heads and then just walked down the movie.
Well, there you go. That's a sign of the times for those old ladies. You know what I'm saying?
So if anyone does that for American Pie, I'm so sorry. You can point the fingers at me.
So Nathan, shall we get into the spoilers?
No one dies in this movie.
No one dies in this movie. But I wanted to finish my point that I was saying before.
Oh, yes.
In regards to the female characters. Yeah, sure, the guys are dickheads. And they are dickheads in this movie. And they're
all of them.
No, they're pretty much all dickheads. Like, they're pretty dumb, like, for the most part.
Oh, Jim, the main guy, like, he's... Oh, actually, no, he does stream a woman's naked body across his town. Actually,
yeah, that's right. But the only one they could maybe say is jock guy that gets with choir girl. But, like, at the same time, like, because he actually kind of has an arc, I guess, in the film. And, yeah, you could maybe say him, but he's still a bit of a dickhead. Anyway, point is that the film would have been way more powerful and... like, and unfortunately for its target audience, way more like this is the problem. If you'd gone with my ending of the film, like the people that paid money to see this would have been like felt so gypped and robbed because in my mind, no one should get it at the end of the film. Like the way it's heading, like no one earns it. Like that's the thing. Like no one in this film like earns like that right.
No,
and yet,
I'm trying to think over it.
By the end of this movie. Like, for me, my perfect ending of this movie is that none of them get it except the weird guy and Stifler's mum. Like, that would be fucking hilarious that it was like which is a great joke, which was I was referring to with the Stifler's mum. I love,
because it's funny, because you hear about Stifler's mum the whole movie.
Yeah.
And, like, you see photos of her, and also, like, MILF was popularized by this movie, so you hear about all the MILFs, and you're like, oh, wow, Stifler's mum, like... Oh, what a funny joke. And then, like, he escapes to the pool room, and there she's sitting with a fucking cigarette, just being like, hello there. And Finch just turns around.
As soon as that starts happening, like, I laughed my ass off. I was like, this is great. Like, this is
because you know
hilarious.
exactly where it's going.
Yeah, totally. And then it happens and whatnot. But the thing is with the others, it's like, really? Like, really? Did they all, Anyway, my point is, though, is that, like, even though, like, you can give, like, some of these characters, the female characters, you can be like, oh, the guys are dumb, sure. But they still get with them at the end. And it's just like, well, okay, sure.
You know what I love? The only one who doesn't have sex is Stifler.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. And I feel like that proves a point. But like...
He must be scarred for life after walking in on that at the end, though. Like, oh, God.
Oh, my God. Poor Stifler, because it's one of the jokes that sticks out from the film. Like, he hosts this house party, and, it's so funny as well when he's hosting that house party, because it's such a classic 90s house party. He's like, hey, fuckface, and he's just, like, slapping people on the asses as they walk around, and you're like, oh, I love this character. And the band choir people rock up at the front door, and they're like, oh, hey, we heard there's a party, and he's just like, what? No party? And you can clearly hear it on the inside. Like, he's such a prick. And you think, is this boy going to get his comeuppance at any point? And it happens so early on in the movie because he brings a girl up to his bedroom who just looks like a nice, like, very nice girl. And they're sitting down. and there's a beer on his bed that has fucking cum in it from when bloody guy with his girlfriend was using the bedroom. And Stifler just drinks it all.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Yeah. It's hard watching that film. And I remember all four of us boys sitting there going, oh, like you understand what the man has done, and you're like, oh, you almost gag watching it because it's so putrid.
Let's talk about the choir joke. Actually, that's fun. The band camp joke. What's so unfortunate, and why I didn't want you to spoil it, was because, like, it's been spoiled for me just because of, like, pop culture, obviously, and what's happened. But, like, I was sitting there watching it when that joke happens, and I was like, dude, if I didn't know that joke was coming, that would have been fucking hilarious, and I would have lost my shit. Like, because it's, like, it's perfect. Like, the way it's, like, built up through the whole movie, and then, like, that happens.
I know, because this chick, she looks so... innocent, she's like doe-eyed, like she hasn't ever had her first kiss, like she comes across as this very nerdy kind of girl, who's very passionate about her music, and that's all she's passionate about, and she keeps on trying to touch Jim very politely, and he keeps on dismissing her, and he's like, oh wait, shit, this girl could actually be like someone I could be interested in. And then she always tells these really shit stories from band camp, and then out of fucking nowhere she says, this one time at band camp I stuck a flute up my pussy. And when she says it, I think it's at the party, he's like, what the fuck? You see him, like, visibly just going, what the fuck? Who is this chick?
I think he does a spit take. I think he, like, spits his beer out or something. Like, it's... Yeah.
That's right. And it's so great because then he loses it to her. And then she just gives him a one-night stand.
Oh, dude, that's a funny line when he's like, she used me. And then he's like, she used me. Like, it's great. That's hilarious.
Yeah. But it's so, because it's funny because, like, there's this beautiful montage of all the different groups losing their virginity, and then it just cuts to him, and they're having the most, like, aggressive sex, and she's just like, ah, and he's like, ah, and then she just leaves, and he's like, whoa, like, oh, doesn't he, like, wake up, like, cuddling, like, some stuffed animal, some shit like that?
Yeah, because they're in the kids' bedroom, that's right. That's
right. And that makes it even funnier. Like, fuck, the gags, this is so good. It's even funnier, Brendan, because you and I have been to band camp.
Yeah.
And we have stories. We're not bloody flutes going up vaginas, but we have stories where some, like, dumb shit and some funny shit happened.
But nothing on the scale of this. Like nothing.
No.
What stories are you talking about?
What camps have you been on?
I don't know what the bloody camps you're talking about. Jesus
you
Christ.
Remember, like when bloody Andre, like, broke the light, and when you had Kai sneak out to see Bella and all that kind of stuff, like...
Yeah, like... God, yeah, but, like, that's all pretty tame.
Or when what was it? We pretended Lucas was dead, or like. Oh
no, yeah. Oh, that was the worst. Okay, have we told this story before on the podcast?
I think you've told this story before.
On the podcast? Jeez.
Yeah, I think you have. I think you've told it on the podcast.
That was the worst, dude. Like that was actually the worst. And when you guys came back and said that he was like passed out somewhere, like not breathing, that was fucking atrocious. Like you should be ashamed of yourself.
Teenagers at music camps just do dumb shit.
Music camps are the funnest camps. Like, and this is what's funny because I think I was talking to someone recently that was like, oh yeah, no, it was that night when James said to us that. Oh yeah, like band camp, ha ha ha, and the other three of us all just went, dude, band camps were the best. Like band camps were actually like
because
the
we'd
best
actually
camps.
done it.
Like it was like they were the best because there was no there was no like any of this like team building activity stuff. It was there you would go to do the musical stuff, and then like you just had free time. And you could do anything you wanted.
You'd have all this downtime. You'd have like canoes, or you'd just like go to each other's dorms and like, I have a great. I remember like Kai, one of the boys in our cohort, who did quite well with girls. He was like trying to text this girl Sarah in the middle of the night, and he was trying to convince her to come over to the cabin. and this. Do you remember this? I can't remember if it was in the cabin.
And I remember saying to him just like, well, what do you expect's gonna happen? Like. Where, like,
there's like 8 boys in here, all of us are like 15.
And you really think that like Sarah, poor fucking Sarah, is gonna wander over to the boys' dorms and wander into a dorm with 8 other guys? Or like, Jesus, I was like, what are you thinking, dude? And then sure enough, he didn't get a response to that one, did he?
No, but they were messaging for a while, and Kai was like, you'd hear him every 10 minutes and he'd be like, "It's going to happen, boys." and there'd be some silence, and he like some tapping on his little like iPhone 3 or whatever it was, and he'd be like, "Yeah, she's gonna come."
And I was just like, great. She's not. But what was funny was that we'd made the arrangement. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember this, that we were gonna go to Alpaca Rock at like 4 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my god, I forgot about this.
Yeah, so we'd made the arrangement with the girls that were in our year level as well, is that we were going to go watch the sunrise at 4 a.m. And there was this, we called it Alpaca Rock because there was this rock away from the dormitories, and it was like just out of the campsite, and we were going to sneak out and we were going to meet the girls there, and we we're all just going to chill out together and like, you know, have a good time, watch the sunrise, and be all, oh, the girls and the boys are together. Well, we're not supposed to be. If we got caught, we would have been fucked. But like, shut up, Nathan. But what happened was that we, being classic, this is the most classic guy thing I've ever like thought of in my life. Like, all the guys are all like, yeah, we're gonna have a good time, like it's gonna be great, and we'll all sneak out. And then it got to about 3:30 or something, and everyone like had that lull. You know that lull when you're doing like
Wait,
an
did you not
all-nighter?
sleep at all in all this? Was this like an all-nighter thing?
No, we were doing an all-nighter. Like,
oh jeez.
And like, you know when you have that lull when you're doing an all-nighter?
Yeah.
And you just...
The one that wouldn't actually strike at 3:30 in the morning.
And we all just went, yeah, like, this isn't worth it. And then we realized we had no reception to contact the girls and tell them that it was off because we were, the boys are tired, we're going to sleep. And so we were like, all right, here's the deal, because we were in a different state to what we usually are, and there's time differences. And we planned this, that we were going to say in the morning when we arrived at for breakfast, when they were like, where were you? We'll be like, we were there at the time, and then be like, oh no, Kai's phone, because we were going to put it on Kai because...
Of course, everyone blamed fucking Kai. He was still texting Sarah. Like...
But Kai was up for this. Kai was like, yeah, they'd believe that. Like, Kai,
idiot.
you haven't put your phone back an hour, or your phone forward an hour, or whatever it was. Like, we were there at 3:30, not 4:30, or whatever the time was. And we did it, and we sold it to them. And then I just remember thinking... This is just like, that is like the most boy thing you've ever heard of, that it's not worth it. We're suddenly tired. Oh no. And I remember telling these people, these girls, like a couple years later, that we dogged you. We dogged you, like we just went to sleep. And they were just like, they were so like, they thought it was so funny, but at the same time they gave us so much shit for it.
Like, you pieces of shit, we got up early for this. Like, we were gonna kiss you on the rock, damn it. And they're like, no.
But imagine if, like, what I thought was the next morning as well, like, that was a funny plan. Like, yeah, we'll just say this and it'll be fine. I was just like, the next day I was just like, what if they'd been caught and like all sent home or something? Like, and
you dodged a bullet, and you're like, wow, I can't believe the girls did this. Like,
oh my god, and it was like our fault. Like, anyway,
oh my goodness,
the things at band camp.
Hey,
can we quickly talk about though? Getting back to the podcast and about the movie.
Very good podcast.
Let's talk about the American Pie. Let's do title talk early, because I gotta say, like, one of the funniest jokes in the film, which I knew about, was still funny, like, when I watched the movie. And that is, like, having sex with the apple pie. Like,
because it's set up so early in the film as well. Like, they're at that cafe, and he, like, casually asks one of his mates, like, oh, what's it like having sex? He's like, oh, it's like putting your dick in a pie. And then he's like, oh, okay, cool. And it's never mentioned again for, like, another hour. But you know, because the film's called American Pie, that it has to come back.
It's like, what's funny, it's so ridiculous. It's so stupid. No one does this. Like, people probably do it now, but, like, no one does this.
I want to know how many people this film inspired to fuck a pie.
Can you imagine the horny teenagers this film inspired? Like, do you have something to tell us, Nathan? Like,
look, I haven't personally fucked a pie. I can say that confidently on the podcast. But I did watch this movie, and then after I had sex for the first time, I watched this movie again. Not immediately after. It was like maybe like a year or so after this happened to be on.
Oh God!
And then I was like, is this the truth? And I remember conveniently having a party pie in my freezer, and I remember putting it in the microwave, heating it up, and I remember putting my finger in the party pie, and I'm like, this is definitely not a vagina. I'm like, this film is blatantly lying. I didn't like finger the pie. I literally like you're almost like tasting something. Like you just dip it in and out. I was just like, no, the film lied.
Nathan, this episode is either going to be our most popular episode, or we're going to get, like, taken down off the internet. Like, I don't know. Like,
I feel like look, I didn't. I think I'm going to really regret saying this in the end. But like, you know what I mean? Also, like, I'm not the only idiot who would have done that from watching this film. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, well,
like,
I can't say I have, so, you know, sorry.
No, but you literally just watched this movie. Like,
oh yeah. Give me a couple months, and I'll be sticking all my things in pies.
No.
Like, Jesus Christ. No.
You just like whip out like a Coles receipt and you just start circling like items, and I'm like, Brenton, what are you doing? And you're like, this. I'm like, oh no.
No, but like that's a good joke. Like that's a funny joke.
Oh, it's so funny.
But like no one, like my point is in the context of the movie, like anyone that like gets a pie that their mum has made for dessert.
It looks like a good pie as well,
freshly
doesn't it?
made. It looks like a great pie, but like that's not the point. Like it's freshly made for dessert. You don't then go sticking your fingers in it and let alone getting your gear down and doing things to it on the kitchen bench.
Yeah, of all the places you're gonna fucking take up to the bedroom at least. It's like,
Jeez.
What was he thinking? And it's great because there's so many moments in this movie where Jim's dad walks in on him. And I think the character is literally credited as Jim's dad. And like every time he comes in the movie, he just steals the scene. Like it's so good. I love the opening of this. Like the opening of the movie is perfect, where the parents just find him jacking off, and like he's trying to switch to the porn channel on his television, but the reception's shitty. And he's got like a sock and like over his dick, and his father's like, oh, what's all this? Like he's trying to like walk him through his porn collection. It's like, you can just tell how disconnected the father is with sex. Like, oh, it's so funny. It's really funny also knowing the sequels, because Jim's dad is the only character to be in all 8 American Pie films.
Really? Wow. There you go.
So in band camp, he plays the camp counselor.
Oh no.
So Jim's dad has a side job where every summer camp he plays the camp counselor, and it's fucking incredible. It's so good. And you know what? You should watch band camp, because as someone who did band camp, you would love it. It's so good. It's so good.
Maybe we'll have a viewing party and we'll watch band camp. I'll do that for the podcast.
For the podcast. Ollie. What did you think about this whole romantic subplot though? Because like the jock joins the choir, and you and I have been choir boys. We've been in, so we know what choir's like in high school. So how does this portrait of, you know what I love about this whole subplot though? It's the fucking background guy in the choir that is actively pissed off by the jock. Do you remember this character?
Yeah, I do.
It's so funny. Like every time he tries to do something, the fucking jock puts his hand up and he overtakes him.
Yeah, man.
You know, he reminds me of in Toy Story 4. You know, there's like those 3 action figures, and they always get those high fives.
Oh my god. What is he called? The lead one, but then there's the guy that like doesn't get the high five and is like left hanging the whole time. Like
it happens so many times in the fucking movie. This character in American Pie reminds me of him, who just consistently misses the high fives.
Totally. He's a good character though. Like he doesn't have much screen time, obviously, but it's funny when he's there and you see that rivalry. That's not even a rivalry, which is why it's even funnier. But let's talk about that. Also about that choir group. There is a woman that is in that, like a literal woman, a full-grown woman, like
yes!
a 40-year-old woman that is in that choir group that's just hanging out singing, and I'm just like, this is not okay. Like you're not fooling anyone, film. Anyway, back
She
to
looks as old as the teacher.
Exactly. Let's talk about this romantic subplot though, because we've been going on for a while, my friend. Like we've been covering all bases. But this
really
romantic
have.
subplot, this is the plot in the film that I was like, I'm invested in this. And it's like the thing I'm the most invested in this movie for some reason. So hey, the film succeeded on that accord. But like at the same time, it's so stereotypical and whatnot. And it's like you've seen it done in like, you know, in everything from High School Musical to, you know, like bloody everything does this. But
Like everything.
yeah. But like at the same time, I was still pretty invested in it. Like, and I don't know why. I don't know why it got me, but I was like, yeah, like, and I knew how it was gonna end as well. That's the thing that's bad about it, is that I knew what was coming. I knew.
Brenton is like really aggressively doing like a Darth Vader pointing of the finger as he's saying this. Like,
But I was just like, yeah, I'm just into this. I'm into this couple. Like, I don't know, like,
but like,
I just like
I don't
them.
know. It's, I guess because it's the couple that gets the most screen attention. You know what I find really interesting? Because the actual couple, where like the boyfriend's trying to convince his girlfriend to give it up to him, and she keeps on waiting for him to say love,
God.
and he's like, oh, and you're just like, oh, geez, this is just so unhealthy for both of you. It's funny because you think that's where the movie would give its attention to, but no, it decides to go for this jock, and it's almost cliche where the jock goes for the choir girl, but it's really fun, and he plays like lacrosse of all things, and it's funny because like, the way he gets her attention is that he realizes you just need to ask girls questions. And there's a scene where it clicks for him, and he goes up to her, and you see him just consistently deflecting questions she asks him and just churning it back at her, and she's so happy about it, and she just starts spinning on, and I'm just like, this is incredible. I'm hoping there's a group of teenage boys out there who watch this movie and just do this in real life. Like, they go to their fucking like year 11 class the next day, and they're just like, but what do you think? Like,
Gosh, I hope all the boys that watch this film, and just boys in general, just work out one day that like, just fucking talk to people. Like, you know, just like, be invested. Have, you know, talk to people. Like,
because you can learn all the wrong lessons from this movie. Like
can.
when the actual couple get into a fight because he's not saying he loves her back, and he makes it up to her by just giving her head. It's just like, it's like, this is not, you're not sending positive messages about relationships.
No, but like, you know, that's not the point of this film at the same time, and like, you understand that, but like, yeah, it is what it is at the end of the day.
It is what it is. I think the most audacious thing that this film does is the broadcast scene, which is like, it's like the climax of the movie almost. Like, because like, you have this Eastern European woman who is definitely not a high schooler. Like,
I don't know, maybe. No.
No. She looks like a supermodel, and like, she's like, hello Jim, will you help me with my mathematics? And he's like, I will help you with anything. And then, it's so good because he takes her up to the bedroom. He says, all right, what does he say? He's like, I have to do something because he's gone for a while. So he fucking like sets up this webcam, runs out of the house, and just streams this live video of this woman being naked in his bedroom, fingering herself to his porn collection while it's being broadcast to the entire town, including Blink 182 for some reason.
For some reason they're in the film.
For some reason. Does Casey Affleck also watch that, or is he still just in Japan by that point?
I think he watches it. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah.
Classic Casey Affleck, just being a creep as always. But like, and the scene goes on for ages, and it's funny. Like, did you like the scene? Did you like it when he had to strip for her and like? He came too early.
For me, it just went on for too long. Like, I was like, I got it. I was just like, yep, cool, and it just kept going, and it was like, wow. But also, like, this Jim character is just a fucking dickhead. Like, he's the biggest dickhead I think I've ever seen on film. Like,
it's a pretty bad thing to do.
No, but anyone, like, that's bad. Yeah, that's like probably the worst thing anyone does in this film. But also, like, anyone that has sex with a pie on the kitchen bench is a dickhead. Like, first of all. But
well, I'm glad you can discern that, Brenton.
Second of all, anyone that, like, leaves the room and then runs, like, however many blocks down to someone else's place so that he can then watch from their computer what's happening in his room is a dickhead. Like, he's like,
yeah. It's like, could you imagine you're going over to a sleepover at a mate's house and like, you're not doing any of that shit, but like, you're just like, oh, you know, go around with a couple of mates, you know, just like crashing at theirs. And then like in the room, there's just this like fucking teddy bear cam. And it's just like, oh, it's just wrong.
And then you run to your grandma's house so you can watch what's going on. Like, you run to your grandma's house. Like, it's just like, what? But also, like, her character's a dickhead as well. Because anyone that goes, I'm just going to get changed and freshen up, and then, like, proceeds to get out of bed for, like, 20 minutes and do what she does, it's like, Really? Like that.
It's like, you weren't aroused in that scene, Brenton. I just remember turning to you and just seeing you scratch your head, being like, really?
Anyway, that's not the point of the scene though. Like, so I get it.
It's definitely not to be sexual. It's just like, it's so funny, and he just he can't even. I love how he keeps fucking it up, but she still is like, oh no, I guess I'll sleep with this guy. Like, she still is kind of keen. Like, it's such a fantasy. This whole fucking film. The one character we haven't talked about yet, which it would be remiss if we didn't, was Shermanator. What did you think of Shermanator?
Who's Shermanator?
The Shermanator is back on track.
Oh yeah.
The fucking lanky ginger kid who just consistently talks about how well he does the sex, and we see him like leave all these bedrooms with all these girls, and then it's revealed later on that he hasn't fucked a single one of them.
Yeah, look, I feel like that he gets his comeuppance, and like, you know, he's pretty bad as well. Like, anyone that like lies about doing shit like that with people like at that age is just like a dickhead as well. Like, God, like, yeah, and we all know that character as well, and you just beat them, and it's just like,
listeners, if you want to imagine what Brenton looked like, it's literally Shermanator.
Fuck off, Nathan. Fuck off.
But imagine instead of like ginger hair, it's like this. It's like brown hair with like little blonde tips, like he used to have when he was a teenager.
Get stuffed. Get off the air. No, look.
Get off this banter train you currently have us on.
Shermanator, he's just gross. Like, ugh.
He really is, isn't he? Like he looks literally like oily, like the fucker hasn't showered in years.
He looks like a jar of peanut butter that's been like sitting there too long and it's like separated. Like, you can see the oil on top. That's.
Oh, I'm so using that. Oh, that's so funny. Like next time someone pisses me off at a bar, I'm just gonna be like, you're just fucking peanut butter, eh? Like. Oh, that's funny.
Nathan, I've got a question for you, mate.
What's that, mate?
What stills this movie? I really want to know.
Brenton, what? I'm kind of nervous to put this photo up on our YouTube video, because what Brent and I do is that we choose screenshots from the movie that we think are worth talking about. You know, they've stolen the movie; it stills the movie, as it were. And if you want to see what this picture is, on our YouTube video, I put it up as a part of the image. So, but I'm kind of nervous to do it for this one because the stills that have been chosen are from the Book of Love, and because you didn't know about the Book of Love going in, did you, Brent?
No, I didn't. No,
because bloody. One of the boys calls up his older brother, Casey Affleck. He's like, "Oi, how do you fuck a girl?" And he's like, "There's actually a book at the school library that like has been there for like 100 years or whatever it is, and it's had all these students, alumni, like add to the book on how to pleasure a woman." And he finds it, and it's like this like old tattered journal. Like it looks old, and as he's flicking through, you can see some of the pages and what they have written on it. And can you make out some of the words that are written on it, Brenton? Because it's all these sex diagrams. And what do they say?
What is it? I can't quite. I can read one of them, like, and it's not. I can read "Caution, not for the faint. Are you sure you can handle this? Home of the famous tongue tornado."
So that's like one of the covers, and it's got like this like little swirl thing, and it's like, oh, what's the tongue tornado? And then the page flips, and it's like got all these like different like sketches of like sex positions, and one's like doggy style, my favorite, and another one's like female dominant, very popular, and it shows like the sketch of the position. And it's like all underlined and like in red font. Like, oh, could you imagine? And it's funny because after this scene, it cuts to him giving his girlfriend head, and he's got the book next to him as he's doing it.
Oh, that's awful. That's just like, oh my God, like that scene, like where that took place with like this book, I was just like, Jesus Christ. But also what's funny about this book is kind of where it's kept in the film as well. Like, it's in the library, like it's under that little compartment that's been made for it. And then my first thought when that happened in the film was actually, can you imagine if they renovated the library and they were just like moving shelves and stuff, and then suddenly just like, what's this? Like,
oh no.
No.
Oh, that'd be horrible.
But Nathan, like,
yes?
after all this American Pie and pies and whatnot, I just want to know, how did they make this making movie magic? Yeah, American Pie.
How did they make this? How do they make this American Pie? Well, what you want to do is that you want to get some apples, you want to get some pastry, and we should just spend this section literally reading out the recipe for an apple pie. Like,
totally.
But how did they make this movie, Brenton?
Mate, do you know Sean William Scott was paid $8,000 for his role as Steve Stifler in this film. It was his first role in a feature-length film. He was paid $8,000.
Is that even like Actors Guild pay rate?
Oh, like that,
I don't know. That feels monstrously low.
This is the late 90s though. Who knows?
Yeah, but the good thing is though he rocks up in the sequels. So so he would have renegotiated that contract and be like, no,
sure.
Yeah, because also when you look at the box office of this, because this movie, Brenton, it was made for $10 million and it ended up making $235 million.
Good lord! Wow,
isn't that crazy?
Congratulations, team. That's amazing.
Oh, so you can tell they renegotiated contracts in the sequel.
Yeah, definitely.
The title. So even though we've done our title talk, did we? We'll get back to it. With the title though, so the screenwriter Alan Hertz titled it "Untitled Teenage Sex Comedy that can be made for under $10 million that most readers will probably hate, but I think that you'll love." So it was like this long ass sentence of a title. So when it was going around to all the different Hollywood producers, they saw this title and like, this actually would be something worth making. And then he changed it to East Great Falls High, which I don't think is very good. And then he changed it to Great Falls and then finally American Pie.
Thank God it was changed to American Pie. That's a really good title.
Do you want to know how they made the erections, Brenton?
Not really, but you're going to tell me, so...
So to replicate an erection in one scene, the crew, they cooked a sausage. So they didn't just even get like an outline of a sausage. They cooked a sausage. They stuck it on a pencil and then they wrapped it in aluminium foil. And it was still warm when it was placed between Jason Briggs' legs, who played Jim. So when he had an erection, he had this little hot sausage just on his dick. Just it's great. Oh, it's great, Brenton. The things actors do for movies.
Gosh.
Forget Leonardo DiCaprio sleeping in a bear in winter. This is the real shit.
So Jason Biggs, funnily enough, had to do his sex scene himself because his body double showed up with an 8-inch long scar across his stomach and was subsequently fired because of it. Now just imagine, you rock up onto set on a day and you go, oh God, those sex scenes, gosh, it's all very technical and embarrassing and whatnot. And then you go, but it's all good because I got my body double that's going to get...
Thank God I don't have to do it.
So I got this professional body double. That's great. And then just getting a knock on your trailer being like, Jason, so your body double's been fired. What? Well, you see, they've got a scar we didn't tell them about. Didn't you do like a screen test where they stripped down and showed you everything? Yes, but this must have been a recent development. Oh shit, you're gonna have to do it, Jason. What? This isn't in my contract. Do it, Jason. Okay.
Do it. Do it. He's like, oh no. They're like, we paid Steve Stifler $8,000. How much do you think we're going to pay you for the sex scene? He's like, yeah, well, you get to have the sausage afterwards. He's like, oh no. It's like, that's so funny. Oh, I mean, hey, it's kind of funny that he gets to do it in the end. I think the movie's better for it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. How do you know what shots they would have used? And I don't know. Poor guy, just finding out that information. Oof. The other thing I wanted to say was Alison Hannigan went to her callback audition really having to pee. And so she ran to the bathroom and her name was called right after she got out. She walked out the door and her name got called. And she went in without having any time to calm down. So she read the part really quirky and with an over amount of energy. And she credits that to her getting the part.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So Brenton, does that mean for your auditions you're going to have to pee a lot now?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to take that advice, you know what I'm saying? And just...
have 3 liters of water an hour before the audition and just see what happens.
If I read that the character is quirky and has an over amount of energy, you know what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be chugging that H2O, smashing it down.
Guzzling that water. It's like, does that mean that when she got the job, does that mean every day on set she had to continually drink a lot of water so she could replicate that energy?
I guess you'll have to ask her. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'll send off a tweet now. I'll ask her. The bloody beer that Stifler drinks that has semen in it. It's actually real beer that he drinks, and it's got egg whites in it for. And you think of that, and even knowing it's beer with egg whites, the sheer fact that you have pretended semen, I would literally gag and vomit. Just even pretending to drink something I thought would look like semen.
Yeah, we should test
beer,
that out then.
I mean?
If you think you'd vomit, we should just test.
Oh no!
Get a couple egg whites, put them in some beer. See how you handle it. Say, Nathan, this is semen. Off you go.
Why did you put semen in my beer, Brenton? Whose is it? And you're like, oh.
Yeah, and there's 2 just eggshells just sitting there, next to it, and you're just I know what's going on. Nathan,
Yes.
do you have any more facts?
No. Let's look at this film's poster. I don't want to know anything else about this fucking movie. All right. What do you think of this poster, Brenton? It's got, you know what? It's very hard for you and me because we just had the Escape from New York poster and the Seven Samurai poster. So it's hard going from those past two episodes to this.
Look, I think it's all right. I think this is pretty famous, this poster, actually, from what I understand.
It is,
and
yeah.
so, like, it's obviously stood the test of time, and there must be for a reason. It just shows basically all the characters all hanging out. And there's obviously, in the bottom corner, placed over the crotch area of our main character, is the pie with a big bloody hole in it. So
it's got a dick hole in it.
Yeah.
Like, and there's something, and the quote is like, there's something about your first piece.
I just don't know if I even need to say anymore. I think, like, yeah, it is.
I don't know what you do to improve. It is iconic.
Yeah.
Like, and all the other posters replicate this. So it's like the teens all happy and laughing and giggling, like, and they're all kind of beautiful young actors, and they're all kind of being like, yeah, let's all lose the V's. Like, as a teenage boy, be like, if I saw that poster, I'd be like, yeah, this is the movie I want to watch. Evidently, I mean, we did do it. So, and what about the title? Was there American Pie in American Pie?
There was.
There was an American Pie. I don't know if there was. I think it is. Do you think it's a good title?
Yeah, I think it's a good title. I do.
It's like, it is a good metaphor. It's like, you know, you think sex is going to be a delicious pie, but then you actually put your dick in it, and it's probably just going to ruin the whole thing.
All right, man. Let's do it. Let's pass the power. Power to the people. Let's pass it to the people. The power. Ooh, yeah.
All right, we've passed the power to the people. You know, we've broken up the Senate, and the people have formed a republic, and American Pie has walked through their doors. And what have they delegated to Brenton?
Mate, this is pretty cool. So the critical response on the tomato meter, it sits at a 61%. Yeah. And then the audience score is exactly the same. It's 61%. So Nathan, like, 61. 61.
There you go. You know what? People say there's, you know, I'm not a critic, or like there's division between the critics and the audiences. It took American Pie, Brenton, for there to be unity between the critics and the audiences. Also, can I just point out with this, when audiences review a movie on Rotten Tomatoes, you know, we normally say 90,000 people voted for for this movie, or maybe 100,000 people or so like that. On Rotten Tomatoes, 33 million. Not like like all the other movies we've done from Rotten Tomatoes, it's always in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. 33.7 million people came to the Rotten Tomatoes website to rate this movie 61%.
Mate, people had things to say, such as Karina Montgomery from Cinerina. Wow, there's a lot of reviews here, dude. We gotta.
Oh, but yeah, may I point out? I have to this section's gonna be a little bit bloated because American Pie is a movie. It's a gold mine for reviews.
Dude, let's smash them out. American Pie shows us how little boys know about sex going into it. Not little boys. Sorry. American Pie shows us how little boys know about sex going into it, and how little the act really teaches them about it as well. But the true joy for us in the audience, anyway, is the chase. Vulgar and heartwarming. That's a good, well-written review, Karina. Thank you.
It is actually, yeah. I think like if that's how I should have phrased it when I was trying to pitch it to other people. It's like, yeah, it kind of shows the moronic attributes of teenage boys when it comes to sex. Garth Franklin from Dark Horizons, he didn't like it, Brenton, like you. And he said, a surprisingly large amount of screen time devoted to the sickly sweet morality tales of the movie, which will be fine on a TV series, but are way too frothy and take up too much time here. That's a good point. Do you think this would have worked as a TV series better than a movie?
No.
I kind of wish they did. And also, I feel like on Netflix, there already are like 10 TV shows that are pretty much American Pie.
Sure. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, like Sex Education, or like The Society, or not The Society, but like, that's basically anything on the CW. Like, it's all bloody American Pie, isn't it?
Robin Clifford from Reeling Reviews gives it a rotten review and says, more mature audiences, beware, because this ain't your film. Short and sweet, Robin. Thanks, mate.
Got a good point. Philip Martin from the Arkansas Democrat Gazelle said, it could have been a lot worse. He's got a good point, though. It could have been a lot worse. You know, you can see the effort in the movie, can't you?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, it's not beautifully shot and it's not well directed, but like, you can see the effort.
Yeah, you can sometimes. On occasion, it just glimmers. You just see that effort and you're like, oh, yeah. Chris Gore says, "This is one of the greatest teen films of all time."
It's definitely better than Bloody Breakfast Club. I'll give it that.
Fuck off. Evidently it is, because like you see, it stood the test of time and people still talk about it and revere it and whatnot. So yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Yeah. And apart from the 90s references, it does hold up. Like, it doesn't look like an old movie. I guess because it's only just 20 years. Like, literally, like, just.
Yeah, it was made in the late 90s, so it's not going to look like...
It's not going to look like 8th grade or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now we get it. No, so from the critics to the audiences, here's where the good shit starts to flow in. This is a long review, and it's worth it. So this guy gave it 5 stars, and I quote, "Jim's dad was the best part of this movie. He is the Negro. His son fucks an apple pie, and he didn't even care. That shows how much of a real Negro he really is. I've watched this movie 50 times in one day just because of the real Negro, Jim's dad. They should make one more movie, but it's all about Jim's dad. No one else, just him. Like, seriously, Jim's dad is the last person on earth, and it's just 2 straight hours of Jim's dad doing whatever he wants. I would pay an infinite amount of money to see that come true. So let's make this happen, and we can all see Jim's dad, the movie. Have a good day."
Jeez. Look, he's a good character, but I don't know if he's that good. Can you imagine something like Cormac McCarthy's like The Road, but like starring like Jim's dad? Like the
Oh my Yes.
Like get rid of Viggo Mortensen. It's just Jim and Jim's dad like going down the road, like trying to survive the bloody apocalypse.
Oh, and he's got like the awkward like porn collection like in like the glove box. So
oh my god.
I love it. I love the passion this movie inspires.
Yeah, hey, like clearly. Benny H, 1.5 stars. 1.5 stars. This one time at band camp, best movie line ever.
It's pretty good.
It's a pretty good line, yeah.
But D gave it a 0.5 star, didn't like it that much. He said, "I laughed once at the MILF joke because it was new and I was 20 years younger. What an awful movie."
Thanks, Butt D. I don't know what else to say about that. That's just like, yeah.
No, it's great.
A personal experience, yeah, sure.
Read the YouTube comments. They're so good.
So the YouTube comments, here we go. Kicking us off. Kids, you're seeing the movie which brought to the world the term MILF.
It's true. It did popularize it. So it's pretty good. Lanson Steam wrote, "R-rated. Let's face it though. How many kids, teens watched this movie back then?" Raises hand.
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't one of them. So it's like...
No. But it's true. It is a funny thing. You always say what age you would recommend this movie for. I watched this for the first time, I think, at 14. And it's like, I feel like this movie is... Like, even though it's rated R, so you probably have to be like... In Australia, you have to be 15 or older to watch it. I feel like this design is like engineered for like 12, 13-year-old children.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
13, 15-year-olds for sure. They'd lap it up.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Watching this makes me cry because there isn't any movie more awesome than this. Jeez.
It's true. Brenton, I defy you to name one movie more awesome.
7 Samurai. There you go.
Excuse me. How dare you? We're going to get back to the bloody past 10 in a minute, buddy. All right. Alan Borbeau wrote on YouTube, "When I first saw this movie on VHS, I had to keep it secretive from my parents, and I was a junior in high school."
Oh, God.
Yeah, I remember having friends who had like DVD copies of this, and it was like the same thing. Like they kind of had it like in their bedrooms. It was like their kind of porn collection. And it's funny because the film actually isn't that porn filled.
No,
like, there's not that much nudity.
Yeah, no.
It's like there was way more in bloody I forgot the name of it again. For fuck, this is twice now. Bloody the second ep we did.
National Lampoon's Animal House.
Thank you. There was more. I'm an idiot. There's more bloody nudity in that than this movie, but here we go.
Oh, funny.
Sam Squash 1996 wrote, This movie is the epitome of the late 90s, early 2000s.
Is it though?
Oh, I'm sure there are other movies like 10 Things I Hate About You is probably up there, but like I don't know. Bloody what's that Amanda Bynes soccer movie?
Oh, She's the Man, yeah.
That's a good watch.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's a bloody good watch.
It is.
But yeah, it's deeply nostalgic. It's definitely up there, surely.
The biggest tragedy in this film was the poor innocent apple pie that was violated. That's a good comment.
I said no characters died in this movie, Brenton. I was wrong.
Yeah, that apple pie got destroyed.
Oh, rip the pie.
Rip the pie.
Oh, Brenton. Well, we've entered our 60s, Brenton. It's a very special time. Obviously...
Where's my walking cane? Where's my walking cane? Where is it? Where is it?
Here we go. We're in our 60s and we've chosen to watch American Pie, so...
Keeping up with the times, as they say. Hey, we're keeping up with the times, watching...
Oh, here we go.
Watching the pie.
So, looking back, as we celebrate our 60s, let's look into our 50s and look at the past 10, and let's see if our opinions hold up, Brenton.
Let's do it. So...
Episode 50. the big 5-0. We watched Rocky 4, and we were divided, Brenton. The house did not stand. You gave it a yes, I gave it a no. What are your thoughts on Rocky 4 in hindsight?
Ooh, this one's a tough one.
It's not good.
It's a tough one.
Why did you give it
because
yes?
Because it's fun. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, American Pie's fun,
no,
and you still gave it no.
It's not that fun. It's not as fun as Rocky 4. I'd rather put on Rocky 4 and drink some whiskey than watch American Pie. Watch some whiskey.
How dare you? Even with my love of Rocky, I would definitely choose American Pie over Rocky 4.
You're probably right. But that coat, though. Oh. Wait, I should fill the listeners in that I actually ended up buying a coat that was was similar to that coat from the film. And it's bloody glorious.
And you showed me it. I got so excited.
It's bloody glorious. I love it. It's all over my Instagram, mate. I just wear it all the time.
I know. I see your fucking photos and I see that coat, and every time I want to just comment like a Rocky 4 reference, but like obviously none of our friends would get the reference. So I was just like, it's so good, and you look so good in it. It's like,
I love it. I love it so much. It's like my new favorite item of clothing.
If people ever ask you, where'd you get that jacket? It's like, well, I watched Rocky 4.
There's this movie and it's called Rocky 4. Yeah.
51. We talked about Pokemon the first movie.
Well, wait, I didn't say. Well, I still can't. I need to.
Oh, sorry. Forgive me. Yeah. So looking back now, is your yes still a yes?
This is the thing. Rocky 4 is one of those movies that can be taken as like so bad that it's good. Like it could be so much fun.
Yes.
And you know what?
And it really pales compared to the first 3 as well.
Yeah,
like
it does.
It really
it does.
drops the
it
ball.
Does. But I'm gonna
especially because also we had a fun night watching it, you and I together. But looking back on it, when you remove all that and you just look at the movie, it doesn't age well.
I agree. But that experience was pretty fun, so I'm going to stand by it.
So 51, we did Pokemon the first movie, and we both resoundingly said no. Brenton, have you...
Yeah, mate. Unfortunately, I love Pokemon. You know me, I love Pokemon. I play all those games, but yeah, no, not for me. Like, unfortunately not.
Watch Detective Pikachu instead. It's dramatically
Haven't
better.
seen it yet. I got to go watch it, yeah.
Oh, it's almost out on DVD, actually, so we'll just wait for that. I think it comes out on DVD in August, so, just bloody do that, mate.
Should be fun.
52, we did King Kong from 1933, and we both loved it. Could not throw enough praise at that racism-filled bloody gorilla monkey thing. So,
jeez, Nathan.
Actually, yeah, sorry, that was a really loaded thing I just said.
Jeez. Yeah, look, I'm gonna stand by it. Like, it's one of those films you can see its influence, and despite that though, it's still a fun movie to watch. That was one of my favorite stills in any movie we've done so far.
Iconic.
Great.
Iconic. I love how it's also it's not the actual iconic thing from this movie, which is him climbing the Empire State Building. We don't choose that. We chose just a close up of this fucking monkey's face. 53, we did our bloody 1 year episode. 54, we did 7 seasons. So 55, we're at Top Gun, Brenton.
Yep.
And we both said no.
Yeah, no.
This is not a good movie.
I'm standing by that. No.
It's still baffles me why this is prevalent in pop culture. It's like, it's not good.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
It's really not good. Like,
And just think, we're getting a sequel. So, there's that too.
Oh, bloody hell. More bloody Tom Cruise. 56. Our Babe Double Bill. We both said yes to the first one, and we both said no to the second one.
And I'm not changing those opinions either, because that sums it up. Babe 2, holy shit, what a fucking trip. You know what I mean?
I've never taken a hallucinogenic in my life, but the closest I've actually wanted to do it is bloody just, put on Babe 2, take a tab, and just see what happens.
So now, next up we have Leaving Las Vegas, which we both said yes to. Now here's the thing, I just wanted to say, if another film that we hadn't reviewed coming up, we hadn't reviewed this film coming up, this probably would have been my favourite film of the 50s.
Oh, if we hadn't done Samurai, this would have been your favourite.
Hey, don't spoil it. Okay.
I'm just guessing here, mate, but...
But yeah, this is such a great movie, and I wasn't expecting it to be.
And it's good, and it's best when these movies are the surprises that they are.
Totally. And you can see why Nick Cage won his Oscar, and you can see... it's a good movie, though, in itself, not just the performances, yeah.
It is really good. I remember at the time, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I remember I was just on the fence of yes. I was just like, yeah, but you know what? Looking back on it, it actually does age quite well. I mean, I've actually been thinking about it more and more, and that's always a good sign with these hindsight sections you and I do. Really watch Leaving Las Vegas. I think it's really important. I think you will learn a lot from it. And also, it's just a good movie.
For sure.
So, 58, Escape from New York. Oh, mate. We both said yes.
Gotta stand by this one. The old Kurt Russell. Gotta stand by him.
It's so good. Oh, it's so good. And you know what? The more I think about it, the more I fucking love it. It's so good. Just like everything about it. What a good time. I kind of wish it did exist today. I want to go back to this universe. I wish it was a franchise. I wish I could spend more time in this weird fucking dystopian New York City.
Nathan,
but like,
sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes you just need the one or the two. And then just leave it alone. And then it's always there and you can always go back and watch it and love it.
Speaking of movies that haven't been left alone or remade, Seven Samurai for 59.
One of the best films ever made. Incredible. So good.
You said yes, I said no.
And I stand by my yes, as you can probably guess. Favorite film of our 50s, for sure. Seven Samurai.
Very good. Is it one of our favorite films we've done in general? Or is
I
it
think
just
so.
like
I think so. It's up there for me.
Yeah.
It's not above Network, unfortunately. It's not above Network.
No. Fuck, Network's so good.
So good. And it's not above It's a Wonderful Life as well.
Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life is pretty incredible as well. Is it above? I'm trying to think of like an obscure one that we've done. Is it above bloody
Babe 2? Yes, it is.
All right. Well, for me, I said no. And look, I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. And I have, by the way, we have gotten a lot of shit for this. But like, I stand by this no because it's so long and it's so perfectly crafted and like, and I can't put my finger on it, but I know I just couldn't watch it again. And like, I need the story to be tighter. And I know it's just one criticism, and literally everything about the film I would argue is perfect. It has the themes, it has the acting, like I can't fault it. But it's just, I can't sit through it. I couldn't do it. Even if it's good, it's just, I want to see the 2-hour edit. Then maybe I'll give it a thumbs up. But right now I'm standing by that no.
Nathan, you're a monster. Anyway, so that's that's our 50s, and that today was American Pie.
Yeah. That was American Pie. Mate, what a bloody trip we've been on. Like, hopefully our 60s are going to be as adventure filled, you know?
I'm sure they will be. I mean, we'll be hobbling around on our little, walking frames, but, we'll still be watching the films. We'll still be talking to you guys, tweeting at you guys, responding to your emails. Thanks for the interaction. And if you want to contact us, feel free to get onto us through YouTube, through our Twitter, or through our emails. Mate, we just love hearing from you guys. It's a true treat. Even when you're like, when you're giving it to Nathan for, saying no to Seven Samurai. I mean, like, that fills me with joy. I don't know about you, Nathan, but...
Yeah, it bloody warms the heart, it does, so... Oh, fucking hell. Like,
by the way, we made it through an episode without making a Willem Dafoe reference as well. Oh, there he is. He popped in.
Brenton. What? No, Willem Dafoe. Put that pie down. No.
Out am I?
I hope.